Hello and welcome to Discovering Grayslake, unveiling the stories and people that make our town so unique. I'm your host, David Wool, and I'm thrilled to bring you this new podcast that explores fascinating stories and experiences of local business owners and community leaders, right here where we call home. Grayslake Rehabilitation Center is a community-based private practice physical therapy provider. Do you know they have 13 clinical providers with various levels of specialties, including orthopedics, sports, neurology, vestibular, geriatrics, pelvic floor, and aquatic? What? Did I just say they have a pool? Well, they do, and it's the largest indoor warm water pool in Lake County, featuring 2 underwater treadmills and swim currents. And recently added clinical treatment specialties, in layman's terms, shockwave. They have both radial and focus units that are the newest tool in regenerative medicine, available to everyone. They pride themselves on the most current and up-to-date specialized care to keep you moving. If you're looking for physical therapy, make sure to see our friends at Grayslake Rehabilitation. Wait. Grayslake has a record store? Are you ready to get into the groove? Well, I've got the perfect place for you with new and used vinyl, CDs, tapes, and more. At Andy's Records, they're not just about the hits. They're about the classics, the B-sides, the hidden gems, the vinyl vibes that make your heart skip a beat. For the record, Andy's is not your average music shop. It's a place where melodies meet memories. Andy's Records, because life sounds better with a little spin. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Discovering Grayslake. I'm here at Agora. It's a packed house here today, so thanks to Luke at Agora. We're on the corner of Center Street and Atkinson, and they are a sponsor of the show and let us record here, that I'm extremely grateful for. So today we got a packed house here. Speaking of packed houses, yes. So I'm here with the Grayslake Central Varsity Cheer Squad. Is it squad? Is that what you call it? Team. Yes. Yes. So why don't we do this before we start? We're going to start to my right. I want you guys to introduce yourselves, and then we'll get into talking about your exciting season.
Okay. I'm Bella Mortensen. I'm a senior.
Yes.
My name is Peyton Gunther, and I'm a senior.
I'm Reagan Greenfield, and I'm a junior.
I'm Stacy Custodio. I'm the assistant varsity coach.
And Kelsey Adams, head coach.
Okay, you see what I'm dealing with here, people? Yes. So you had a super, is it a season, is that what you call it? Because I've never been a cheer dad before.
Yeah.
So the season just ended.
Yeah.
And you had extreme success this year.
Yeah, we had a really, really successful season.
Awesome. Okay, and this isn't your guys' first rodeo. You guys have been a successful program for a very long time.
Yes.
Okay, so give me some stats. Before we get to what we did this year, give us a little recap of what
sure.
you guys
So in 2006, IHSA inducted cheerleading into athletics. And in 2006 and 2007, the team advanced to the state series and the state finals, and then didn't make it back to the state series again until 2013. Went on a 11-year run, I think, at the state series.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, definitely. And so it really became kind of a standard and part of our culture, that level of excellence. And then in 2023 was the first year we hadn't made it to the state series since 2012. So we were
You guys just took a year off.
Yeah, we needed a little interim.
Just relax for a little while.
Yeah, and made it back. But overall, it's been a really competitive, successful program. We've placed in the top 5 at the state series 4 times and won the championship in 2019.
Wow, how exciting.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about this year, after you had your year just to rest. And, sometimes we need to give everybody else a chance, too. So I think that's probably a good excuse for last year.
Yeah. I think the year off also gave everybody, athletes and coaches, some really good perspective.
Sure.
As a coaching staff, we redid a lot of our training, revamped a lot of how we do what we do and why we do it, and the athletes bought into that from day one. We've been practicing since June. They bought into that new training that Coach Custodio worked tirelessly on revamping, the brains behind the business, but they bought in, and it led to a lot of the success this season.
Right, especially if you have a big run like that. Maybe a year not doing that can be humbling and push everybody to bring it up another notch for the next year.
Absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing to do when you set a standard like that, and then you're like, oh gosh, every year. So there's pressure on coaches, there's pressures on girls to do what they have to do. All right, so we're going to start this week. So I'm going to start to my right, and I would like you to tell me your favorite part of this year's season.
I would probably have to say, oh gosh. My favorite part of the season was probably, I don't know, just before every competition, like, being with the entire team and, like, kind of, like, seeing how everybody's nerves were the same, but then, like, kind of all of us just coming down to earth, all of us saying something in the circle, like, just to get our nerves out of the way. I just feel like that at that point, like, we just become, like, a unity and, like, we're just so, like, tight-knit, and then, like, we go out and perform the best that we possibly can. And it's just it's a special moment to have, and, like, as a cheer team and as a person in general, so.
I bet. It's like training for life, actually.
Yeah.
It really is. How about you, Peyton?
I think that my favorite part of the season overall was just the bond that we created even since the beginning, even since tryouts, like walking into that gym and like knowing this is going to be a good year with good people, being able to compete on that mat, and just making like the bestest friends I think I've ever had while being on this team. And definitely too, being in like a stunt group specifically is like creating a different type of bond too. You have to add that level of trust. And I think that was honestly my favorite part, was knowing that I could go out onto that mat and trust every single person on that mat to do their job.
That's awesome. Yeah, there must be a lot of trust with that and team building at the same time. Mm-hmm. All right, let's hear it.
I was going to say my favorite part was game season, because it was just a lot of fun, especially with like how much like we love each other on the team, and it was just like a lot of fun to like cheer the football players on, and just like that's the time like it's really fun and not as like stressful as comp season. But yeah, it's also about like the bond that we like created this year. It was like really special, so I also like that.
The funny thing is, none of you girls said anything about winning, which is very humble, and I love it, and I think that's great. You talked about the bond and the friendships you've made and everything like that, which I think is very, very cool. How about I've heard through the grapevine that you guys have a little bit of a strenuous training schedule. Is that correct? Tell me, whoever wants to jump in.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how do we prepare for something like this.
It starts right from the get-go, honestly. Like, it started in the summer. We trained all summer long, too, during game season. It wasn't just strictly focused on the cheers. We were preparing ourselves for comp season, to have a successful comp season, to want that successful comp season.
Okay, so like what time do you guys get up in the morning? Do you have early practices?
Oh yeah.
Like Friday mornings, like
6 a.m.
Comp season, 6 a.m.
6
And
a.m.
during winter break.
Break.
But it was, I value all the time we had, but.
Right. Who are these coaches that make you do that?
I mean, really.
We need to talk to them. And who are the parents driving back and forth at 6 a.m.? I'm sure they have zero complaints about anything that ever happened.
We don't hear them.
No, they won't tell you guys, that's for sure. Okay, so because I'm ignorant to a lot of things when we talk about like stunt groups, or they're like different groups of people that work together. So there's three different groups.
Mm-hmm.
Are you all a member of one group or different groups?
Me and Bella are in the same group.
All right, so who else is in your group?
Caitlin, Bree, and Gabby.
Caitlin, Bree, and Gabby. All right, how about you, Peyton?
I'm with Addison, Abby, Ashley, and Jilly.
Wow.
And then the last group is Jasmine, Maddie, Bella Shimp, Natalie Gonzalez, Emma, and then Nicola.
Okay, how come Bella is the only one that gets Bella Shimp? Is there two Bellas?
Because I'm Bella.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
Bella,
so
she gets Bella Shimp.
She'll get to be her own Bella.
Yeah, she'll get to be Bella next year.
That's right. Okay, so two seniors and junior. Who's seniors?
Oh,
Me and
me and
Bella.
Peyton.
Okay, you and Bella are seniors, so you're junior.
Yeah.
Okay, so the girls that came in during this year, your freshmen, it seems like you had a strong freshman group that came in.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. I think they came in and they understood what needed to get done and when to do it, but they also had a level of like they knew when to have fun too.
So when you do stuff like that, the girls that are coming in, I know that cheerleading has like, do you call it like club teams or things that you, like different organizations that you come to before to prepare to come into high school?
Like
Like I know there's
like
a
half
Colts.
like Colts, has
Like
to be,
baseball
like,
has travel.
is it the twisters or something
Yeah,
like that? Or
there's
something?
there's a few different elements, and I think what's cool is actually all three of the athletes here today came from the Grayslake Colts organization.
Nice. Keep
There
it
are-
local.
Oh, I'm sorry. Peyton's from Stallions.
Peyton's from Stallions.
Foot rack
She's
cheer.
the black sheep.
There's a lot of options. There's a lot of gyms that you can train at. You mentioned Twisters. There's Ice in Barrington. There's a lot of different. But we get most of our kids from rec cheerleading.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And cheerleading is an extremely competitive sport, right? And I was kidding Nikki Schimpf about sports and cheerleading. Like you guys are athletes, like with all the training and everything you do. But I haven't seen many things because I've only been to a couple cheer competitions. But it's intense, right? So through this, so you guys compete this year, and you had a lot of success. Tell me about some of your successes. And see, I don't know what to call them. Are they matches? Are they
Competitions.
the competitions? That
Yeah.
should be easy for me to
That's
remember, right? Right. So you have several competitions during the year, and so tell me about some of those and how you guys did.
Yeah, so we attend invites starting in December to essentially help prepare us for the IHSA tournaments. So IHSA only sponsors sectionals and the state series, but we follow the IHSA rubric. We work with IHSA officials throughout our entire competitive season, as well as with our conference championship. So, we weren't really sure exactly what to expect, not because we didn't recognize the skill and the potential on the team, but there's a level of subjectiveness to cheerleading, and we just weren't really quite sure. There's a lot of elements that factor into your success outside of just the athleticism, and we saw success early on in the season. We finished our first three competitions in first place with still a lot of opportunity. So definitely still some errors in the routine. So a lot of potential still. And then going into Grayslake North competition, where we finished second place. That was our first regular season not win, but gave us some good perspective on what to keep doing, how to keep moving forward, and going into the conference championship, which is a really big competition for us. We have a really competitive conference for cheerleading, and it's essentially at times like a little mini state series. So most of the teams in our conference advance to state and advance to the finals, and so winning the conference championship at both the JV and the varsity level.
Oh, both levels.
Yeah, and that was
That's
the first
awesome.
time in program history for that to happen. So I know the kids, our athletes spoke about their favorite moments, and they very humbly did not say any wins. As a coach, seeing both teams walk away with the conference championship was definitely a moment in my coaching career that I'll hold very near.
Wow, how long have you coached?
13 years?
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so with JV winning like that, there's got to be a little bit of high hopes for next year.
Definitely.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
winning both.
we have a big program and we have a very talented program. I think there's no arguing that. Just really is how you train and prepare for the competition season. It's grueling and it's hard and it's a really long process. So we have tryouts in May and we train all summer and all fall, all for those 2 minutes and 49 seconds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so hats off to you because obviously your coaching style is working.
Couldn't do it without Coach Custodio, for sure. And Coach Greenfield. We have a really, really great coaching staff. And actually, all three of us are alumni to Grayslake Central, so it's in our roots.
Yeah, so did you guys both cheer there?
We did.
And were you one of the winners of the state?
Yes. Well, yeah, I was coaching at that
Yeah.
time.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Then how did you guys do when you were cheering?
Let's see. The second year of IHSA State, we placed fourth. So that was up until the year that we won the best finish in program history. So that was in 2007. And then we've started coaching together in 2014 and have been coaching together pretty much ever since. And then to see the success of the championship in 2019 felt really good. It felt like, okay, we're doing something right. Things are going okay. And then to experience also setbacks along the way. So we really do feel like we've been on the roller coaster, but through it all, our athletes have been so supportive and they've been invested, and it hasn't always been easy, but it's always been rewarding.
All right. Awesome. That's fun. Okay, so how nervous were you girls when you get your? So you do the competition that gets you to state, because that was like what, 10? Was there 10 finalists? Or no, you had
top 5.
Top 5. Then that's how you finished. But to get to that actual state, there was a big competition, and then they chose the top. How many to get there?
So yes, we compete at sectionals.
Okay, how many teams?
There
in
were
there?
I think 17 or 18 teams in our sectional.
Oh wow!
And the top 5 advanced to the state series.
Wow.
And
So
the kids could talk about it if they'd like, but
Yeah.
we had a setback at sectionals.
I feel
tough.
Yeah.
It was tough. We had a tough week of practice. We had an injury, and we had 2 falls that impacted our score sheet really negatively. And so advancing to the state series already had a lot of really deep meaning to us.
Right.
But then having our probably lowest score of the season at the most important competition of the season was hard. There were a lot of emotions. We placed 4th at sectionals, which did advance us to the state series, but I don't. His question was about nerves, so I don't know if you guys want to speak to the nerves going into a high pressure situation like that.
Yeah, especially. And we made it, so.
Right. Okay, so if I understand this correctly, you had 2 falls during there, get one of your worst scores, but you still made it.
Yeah.
Which says a lot, right? So besides that,
It definitely
a lot
does.
of things went right.
Definitely not the way we wanted it to happen, but speaks volumes about their abilities, the routine that we were given, how they executed the routine, the skills that they were able to perform outside of those 2 falls, and falling is a part of the sport. It is inevitable. But I think what we were most proud of is their recovery. Cheerleading is also very strategic, and you have to hit certain elements of your routine to score within ranges. And we had 2 falls at the exact same time in a very...
Don't you get points if you do it at the same time?
Yeah.
You got to coordinate that stuff. It's not synchronized falling.
They were synchronized. It really was. But they recovered very quickly, and we go into actually our hardest stunt release immediately after where those falls took place. And as coaches, we can have a second to say, like, these next skills have to hit or we are done for.
Yeah.
But that's different, I think, if you guys want to speak to it, competing it,
Yes.
and they did. They nailed them, and we needed the points from that second skill set.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, honestly, though, being in one of those stunt groups that had fallen, it wasn't for my stunt group, which consists of Addison, Abby, Ashley, and Jilly. We have never fallen at a competition like that before. It wasn't really a thought in our mind that we wouldn't have fallen like that. Like, it was just a complete fluke that we had fallen like that, especially. So I think as we were transitioning into our hardest skill set, we talked each other through it. We just said, this is how I love you guys. No matter what happens next, I still have that love for you, and I will always have that love for you as we transition into that next stunt. And I think that, honestly, it helped us get through that next stunt and hit that next stunt to our highest ability.
Right. And I think that says a lot about you guys, too, that when you have a fall like that, I'm sure your nerves are like, oh, my God, it's all going south.
Yeah.
But then being able to have the
So do you have those
adversity to do it.
conversations on the mat then?
Yeah,
Like those
so-
things you said?
Oh, you do?
During
On the mat?
yeah, so usually, Ashley, our back spot, right before we go into our inversion, which is our hardest stunt, she will say, I love you guys. And as Addison is coming down from her release prior to that stunt, we kind of have a little conversation. We have a little moment where I can let her know, like, I'm here for you no matter what happens. I'm going to always be here for you. And it's those moments that help you get through the routine, really.
Absolutely.
Like having just that 1 second even of downtime or eye contact that you make with someone, it just really, honestly, it makes or breaks the routine and how you do that.
For sure. Wow.
Kind of to add on to that, me and Peyton are in different stunt groups, and I was the other stunt group that fell at sectionals.
Synchronized falling.
You can laugh about it now.
Yeah, it wasn't funny at sectionals. But this was the competition that Nayla got thrown into base, and it was like 3 days prior to sectionals. Yeah. She took it like a champ. Like practice, it was just amazing. Like she did so well, and I think that like once we fell, everybody was like, we just fell. But she picked it right back up. We all picked it right back up. Caitlin Stevens, Gabby, Reagan, like we all just like looked at each other. Like we knew we fell, but we knew that we could still make it up. But like at the end, and like I don't know if we said anything. We might have, but
nothing we can say.
Yeah. I think it was just like a. Yeah. But yeah, I think there was just like a lot of pressure not like pressure, but like nerves going into sectionals because, like Reagan said, like last year's sectionals was like. We didn't want a repeat of that, and we wanted to like still do our best, compete our best routine. And another like crazy thing is that throughout the entire season, like we hadn't talked about sectionals, like we hadn't thought about sectionals, the pressure. Like we lived in the moment, we lived in the competitions, and we just honestly had like fun during our season. And then sectionals came, and I think everybody was like, "It's sectionals week, sectionals week." And I just think there's like a like unspoken pressure. No one was putting pressure on anyone, but I think it was just unspoken. And I don't know. I think making it to state was like great, and I think we performed really good at state because we had met our goal. Like we met our goal of making it to state, and whatever happened. We just competed our best, and yeah, I think that was just really special. So.
Wow. Okay, so when you guys get to go down to state, where was it held at?
Bloomington.
Bloomington. Do you guys all go on a bus there together?
Oh yeah.
How was that bus ride?
Honestly. It was a very calm bus ride.
It was. We were awesome.
Like, I think we had practice prior to that, getting on the bus, going down.
First you practice.
It was during the school day. Getting on the bus, it was very, like, we lived in the moment going down the stakes. We knew either competing day 1 or day 2, it could end right there. And we didn't know when it was going to end, same with sectionals too. I think there's a lot of nerves because cheerleading's different from other sports. Like, in other sports, you can make up for your mistakes, but once you fall, that impacts you right there and right in that score sheet and like those areas that you need to score high in. So I think we kind of all just took time to ourselves on that bus ride to think about what we needed to do and how we needed to prepare going in to day 1.
Wow.
Shout out to our bus driver, Raul, too.
Yeah.
He was great.
He was amazing. Loved him.
Maybe we need to Raul, the bus driver, on here. And then he'll tell me the truth about what actually happened on the bus ride there and how calm everybody was. It says a lot about you because cheerleading seems like not only a physical thing, but it's a completely mental thing for you guys too.
Yes.
To prepare and a quiet bus ride down when you guys are like getting ready, and then you check into your hotels. I'm sure somebody decorated your rooms as well, right?
Oh, yeah. The parents. Shout out to the parents.
Was that cool walking in there?
It was, yeah.
Were you surprised about it?
I think also the cool thing is for this state experience, only 3 of our team members had ever competed at the state series.
Oh, wow.
And sort of the naiveness was blissful. But also there's a lot of traditions in the program and that the parents embody at the state series, and so many of them had never experienced it before.
Let's talk about the traditions.
Yeah.
Give me some traditions.
One of the main traditions is we go out to dinner the night, and as we're out to dinner is when the parents come and decorate our hotel rooms, so it kind of leaves us like a surprise to come back to.
Right.
And then if we advance to day 2, we always have a practice that night, and usually like a pasta dinner or something like that, which is the practices too they're very fun, knowing like that is your last practice.
Okay, yeah, because you're both seniors.
Yeah.
So you're done.
Yeah.
So 2 more basketball games.
How does that feel?
Yeah.
Because you get to cheer at basketball games, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, but that's got to be a pretty emotional.
Oh my
experience
God.
to
It
do
was
that.
definitely an emotional
Literally
ride the whole weekend.
after we were done competing day 2, I think I saw you in the video too, but I was like, I just started bawling, and I was like, everyone was like, did we not hit? And I was like, no, it was so good. Because it was so good. And I'm so happy that was our last performance.
It was honestly the best way to end our career as cheerleaders at Grayslake Central.
That's awesome.
With the hit at State Day 2.
Yeah.
We're taking a quick break just to say hello because everybody knows Nano, and Nano knows real estate. And actually, I believe that's the name of her Instagram page. So if you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, or know somebody in the market for a home, contact Nano from Baird & Warner. She's a Grayslake girl helping out Grayslake people. That's fantastic.
And day one.
And you got to do all those days to get there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the traditions of doing stuff to make sure that the rooms are decorated, and that's got to be, the parents probably had as much or more fun than you guys did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's fun to hear, and if you guys knew how proud your parents were of you guys, it's unbelievable. I think they're more into it than
they're invested.
I have friends that you wouldn't pick out as a cheer dad, and then you're like, I'm like, what are you?
Oh yeah.
Like, what are you guys talking about? I don't understand this. He's like, what about the girl that does what? I'm like, okay, who's the girl they throw up in the air? Who gets thrown up in the air? A lot of people? Reagan. Are you the one that they brag about that they can throw you to the ceiling?
I guess.
Oh, talk about the ceiling throws.
Yes, sounds like a great topic.
One time at a practice freshman year, we were doing a basket, and my arm was going up, and I was going to do a twist basket. And my arm got caught in there's a wire in the gym holding the softball net.
The batting cages.
Exactly. Yeah, so my arm got caught on it, and then pushed me away, so nobody caught me.
Slungshot her across the gym.
Okay, how high is that in the air? How high are you getting thrown in the air?
It was pretty
high.
Pretty high. Yeah, and then I hit it again this year, but it's okay, I didn't get caught on it.
You didn't get caught on it. That's good.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Holy cow. Okay, so to coaches, how was your experience? It seems like this group of girls is awesome, right? It must have been a pleasure, and watching them grow over the years to come to moments like this.
Yeah, they talked a lot about the bond in some of their favorite moments, and we can do exercises and activities to help create that bond or make that bond closer, but a lot of that was very organic, and that is really what makes our jobs a lot easier. They naturally wanted to work hard and do the job, but they also really had a good time doing it. And great thanks to Bella.
No, I was waving.
But truly, they had a good time, and the minute they stepped on the mat in practice, they worked hard, and then they had fun in between, and it was a pleasure to coach.
Yeah, because I don't know if you guys have heard, but not all high school girls get along.
I
don't know.
Yeah,
anybody else has heard that?
We've definitely experienced those teams before as well. But this team, obviously a team of 16 high school girls. Everyone has their own personality. But I think that was something really special about this team is they found something unique about each person on the team and just really embraced that person for who they are. And it didn't ever get in the way of the job that they needed to get done.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel the same?
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
100%.
All right. So all of these wins, and I know that we've had other, I wanted you guys to speak upon other things in the community because I know North did a great job this year too, and we hear a lot of stuff from them, so I want to personally give a shout out to them, and I know that you guys respect them very well. So is that a friendly competition? Is it a rivalry? What is it?
Yeah, cheerleading is very competitive, but the one thing that's very unique about cheerleading is the support between teams. We obviously have a rivalry with Grayslake North, but I would say it's very healthy and organic.
A friendly rivalry, right?
Yeah. We stand in the back of the bleachers cheering for them just as I know they are for us. We have so much respect for their program. And like I said, our conference is super competitive. But yeah, for both Grayslakes to make it down to state is a huge, huge, huge victory for the community. And prior to COVID, it hadn't happened since prior to COVID. So it's really fun to experience that with them. Shout out to Caitlin Bender, their trainer. She helps us out. But yeah, super proud of what Coach Barry's doing at Grayslake North. Have a ton of respect for her.
Yeah. And it's cool. I like that. I like when everybody can get along because even in, because I was in baseball stuff too. It was fun to play North. But it was a friendly competition.
Yeah.
But it also helps, especially when you have another talented team. Everybody rises up, right?
Yep, absolutely.
It was a lot of fun. So what's the most fun about coaching these girls? What's the biggest satisfaction that you guys get out of it? The girls are pointing.
I know.
Just hanging out with you guys. It's great, right?
Honestly, they are so fun to be around. I looked forward to every single practice, every single game, every single competition. There was never a point in time where I was like, ugh, I have to go to practice. I never felt that way this whole entire season. They knew how to make and find the joy in every single thing that they did, and they really truly did it out of love. And it made for difficult times, obviously, when we were coaching. We had to put on our coach hat sometimes, but then at the same time, they can take away those burpee consequences away from things that they didn't do right.
Burpee consequences.
Yes,
And
but then still giggle, laugh, and have fun, and really appreciate us and our personalities as coaches too.
Right.
Yeah.
So, girls, do you like these girls over here? Do you like your coaches?
I couldn't ask for anyone better.
Right. Well, it's fun because, to have the camaraderie that you girls have and the strive to do better obviously takes great coaches, because you probably wouldn't be at the same place you were without great coaches to push you and make you get up early in the morning. Isn't it true? I just heard somewhere, too, that cheerleading has the most injuries of any sport.
Probably.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. So, did you guys have injuries during the season?
Yeah.
We did, yes. During our week before sectionals, one of our main bases, Bree, had gotten injured, had a back injury, and it was definitely a setback. Not necessarily a setback, but it kind of put into perspective anything could happen. And shout out to Dr. Boma, who helped her through it and helped get her back for state, but also having athletes like Nayla that can jump into that position and be successful for their team and put in everything for their team just really helps us all come together.
Wow. It's fun. It's one of those, especially with injuries, if you lose, because, again, I know nothing about nothing, but if you guys have your program down and you've practiced this and one of your bases go down, how do you step in the adversity to do that? That must be...
It's hard.
Yeah.
It is.
Because you practice it all year.
Yeah.
Okay, do you have the same routine the whole time? For the whole season?
Yeah, so we learn the structure of our competition routine over the summer, which is more so clumps of skill sets and very high level formations. And then we focus more on skills and sideline season during the fall season. And then our choreographer comes back post-winter tryouts once the season starts and adds the remainder of the routine. But yeah, it's one routine all year long.
Wow.
There's always something to do.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Same thing. We can always find something.
Right, no, and it sounds like, okay, so there's also different, I was trying to understand all this, so there's different categories in where you guys were. Does that go by the amount of girls? Does it go by skill level? Does it?
Oh, divisions?
Yeah, divisions.
Mm-hmm. So there's 3 divisions based on school size, so by school enrollment.
Okay.
And then there's a 4th division that you opt into, and if you are a co-ed team. If you have 2 or more male athletes on your team, you have to opt into the co-ed division.
Do you guys have any guys on your team?
We have one on JV.
One on JV, so he'll be on varsity next year.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We're going to tryouts.
Right. Okay. How many people try out and how many make it?
I'm
so excited.
See, I'm sorry.
We are a cut sport, unfortunately.
And it happens in every sport.
Yeah, definitely. We wish that we had the resources to take everyone who tries out, but unfortunately we don't. And so we do cut a handful of people that try out. But this year we had the biggest, number of athletes that we've had.
Yeah, we had 21 athletes. Yeah, we had 21 athletes on JV.
Holy cow.
Which is definitely the most I think we've ever rostered on JV. So almost 40 athletes in the program.
Wow. So I don't need to ask you girls the hardest part of your job, because that must be the hardest part. Yeah.
Tough conversations.
Talking to any coach that has to do it, but it's just part of life. It's part of everything.
Yeah.
You can only take so many, and
we have a few athletes that come and try out in the spring, and then they say, well, what can I do? What can I work on? And we recommend go to Venture, start tumbling, reach out to some kids on the team, get in a stunt group, learn more of the foundational aspects, and then we'll see them come back in our winter tryout. And in some cases, those athletes have then made the team. So it just really
that's great that they ask.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if you don't ask, and I advocate for every child listening to, no matter what sport you play, is if you don't make it, or even if you do make it, when you ask your coach what you can do better to succeed, they're going to love it, right?
Yeah.
When they come to you and say, what can I do better? Right, and really, exactly, and you can't give up. And I totally interrupted you when we were talking about how the different divisions.
Oh no, that was it. There's 3. We're in the medium division.
So you're in the medium.
So we're like right in the mid of school enrollment, and the classifications change every 2 years based on school enrollment.
Okay, doesn't matter how many girls you have on the squad.
There are maximum numbers, but the only minimum is that you have to have at least 4 athletes on the mat to form a stunt group. But our division can max out at 16 athletes competing.
And that's how many you have?
We had 15.
You had 15.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so with the more athletes out there, does it get harder? Do you have is it much? It's probably from a coaching perspective and working in teams like that. It's with the more, it gets more difficult.
Yeah, there's also like the rubric for cheerleading is heavily based on majorities. So you have to have 1 over half of a skill set in order for it to count on your score. So
wow, that was just like speaking Chinese to me. I have no idea what that means.
We had 15 athletes on the mat, so in order for us to get points for any tumbling skill, we had to show at least 8 athletes doing that skill.
Understood. Is that difficult? Because I'm sure that everybody has their specialty, right?
Yeah.
Of what they do.
It really is, and some athletes, they are really great tumblers, and those are things that bring value to the program and value to our team. And some athletes are really amazing stunters, and we can't put stunts up in the air without those athletes. And so it's really just finding the best way to fit everyone together to create the most cohesive unit.
Wow. Yeah, and that's got to be fun to put everybody together. It's like, who do you put? Like, how do these groups get put together?
Yeah, months of training.
Months. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
we switching stunt groups a lot, moving people around.
Oh, you
seeing,
do?
All summer.
Okay. Wow, and then just see who works cohesively the best together.
Yeah.
That's fun. Are you guys happy with your groups?
Yes.
It's kind of fun. So you work in those groups, but then all together as a team.
Yep.
Wow. It's definitely not an individual sport.
Not at all.
No. Who's the most important person on the cheer team? Is there anybody that's the most important part?
No.
It all goes together.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But it seems like you guys had the perfect blend of everything to succeed like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Truthfully, this team did.
Yeah.
Wow. So fun. Okay, so the state tournament, you guys are standing up there. I want to talk about community support, parental support, like being out there, just being nervous to do your routine, but then looking out in the crowd because the place has got to be packed, right?
Yeah. But the parents do a really good job at supporting us and cheering us on and having a good fan section and
it is the best feeling.
Yeah.
So
you're good.
during our routine, we I don't know, for some of us, when we hit our stunts, we can't really see the other stunts hit. So when we hear the parents screaming at us and our friends and all of that, it's just it's such an amazing feeling. And we go out onto the mat too. And we go out to the mat, and the parents have this cheer for us. It's just it just gets us hyped up, and it's I don't know. And our parents do a lot for us. Yeah.
It's a big commitment.
Yeah, I think too as well seeing people that will actually commute the three hours to come watch us setting up a fan bus and kids actually coming on that fan bus coming to support
That's
us.
Awesome.
It just shows how connected our community is.
Yes.
And it honestly, it's just so amazing watching everyone come together, even driving that distance too, and having friends come out and everything like that to come support you and watch this routine. It just helps a lot.
Yeah.
Do you guys look at your parents when you get out there?
I do
look
not.
At, I would not be able to.
You can't see
you
them.
can't see them because the lights are
The light,
bright.
yeah.
So you can tell that and well, if they're cheering.
You can hear them when you walk out,
Right, but you
They're
can't
loud.
see them.
You
I'm
can't
glad
see
you can't see them because I wouldn't want to be out there looking at my
Yeah.
like that too.
Our parent section, which we have dubbed our program as the Ramley, our parent section has now become known to other competition hosts.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a good thing.
They're rowdy and
They say, we know the Grayslake parents will be there when the doors open. We know that they're going to take up a whole entire section of bleachers, and we know that they're not going to move for anything, and they're going to be there to support their kids. And they and other competition hosts have mentioned it, and so they really have almost set the standard for the other parent sections too.
Good.
Yeah.
We're always bringing it up a notch.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So go Grayslake. Thanks for everybody. Like
Yes,
they're
yes.
coming out to support for everything.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the one thing, only I've got limited cheer experience, right? So you guys perform. How long do you have to wait? Because I know, like, depending on how you go, like one morning you may be like the first one or the last one.
Gosh,
How long do you have to wait, and which is the best slot to have?
Honestly, I think going like right in the middle
Yes.
is just
That's
the
what we
best
did at
spot
State.
that you can get.
So
Like, because if you walk out there first, sometimes like it's complete, the whole area, the gym area is just completely like dead. Like there's only the Grayslake Central fans there.
that was like sectional.
Oh yeah, because they're not coming till
Yeah,
later.
'cause they're not
It's the
going
first
first.
one.
We were first at sectionals.
And it was
really?
like nobody, it was like crickets. But
Yeah.
obviously our parents.
Yeah.
Then we're like,
But then you have to wait, so I think
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is,
Yes.
and that's kind of what I had said going into sectionals, whether we had falls or we hit, the 2.5 hour wait from when we competed to awards was going
Oh my
to be
gosh.
stressful.
Yes.
And it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Peyton or Bella said, we were in the middle at state. I've never actually asked you guys that question, where you like to be in the lineup.
I loved it.
But
I
I
loved
agree,
exactly
I
where
like
we
being
were.
in the middle. It
Yeah.
seems
Yeah.
almost like you're very rushed if you're at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was good.
Interesting.
It
Yeah.
seemed like the stars really aligned for us at state.
Yes.
In all the right ways for them to be able to perform to the best of their ability and have fun. Like they said, there were nerves at sectionals. It seemed like they left all those nerves and really just enjoyed the experience at state. And we had said all season long, we know that they can do the big stuff. We know they can do the hard stuff, but what other teams don't have that you guys do is that connection, that love for each other. So, and we saw that.
It's the X
2 days.
Factor.
Yeah.
X Factor wins all the time. That's for sure. So how do they pick when you go? Like
Random.
Oh, it's random. Yeah, I can see what you guys saying about like the first one because the
Yeah.
energy's not there yet.
Yeah.
Being in the middle. So then when you went first, then you do you watch all the other
Yeah.
teams
Depends.
go?
You can, or
You can, or you
sit
can
in
just
the
wait in the classroom.
or in the lunchroom.
It's a long 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it
Well,
really
at
is.
state, if you're the first team to perform at state, it's like a 9 or a 9:05, and then awards aren't until after 1.
Wow.
And you can't really leave at the state. I mean, I guess you could maybe, but at the state tournament, you don't really leave. You stay in the arena all day.
Right. Wow. That's a lot of like, and then so you have to sit there and nobody has any idea about scores. So you sit as a team and then they pull the cards out and then they announce it from. For state, they did top 5. Is that correct?
10.
Top
So
10.
25 teams advance to the state series in each division and compete in the preliminary round. And then 10 of those 25 teams advance to finals.
Right. And then when they announce the winners at state, how many do they announce? Do they announce
3.
from? So they do 3. So when you hear the first person's name, then you're hoping you're second. So you have no idea.
Yeah.
But you probably know a little bit from the performance, right?
Yeah, and from the scores at prelims.
Okay. So those are, and then afterward you found out, so you were 4?
5th.
You were 5th.
Yes.
So 5th in the state.
Yeah,
It's an incredible achievement.
it is.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so as we're getting closer to wrapping up, I want to make sure because I don't know about cheerleading, what am I not asking you girls or coaches that you want Grayslake to know about you? Because everybody's been supporting you, everybody's behind you. Even Dr. Bowman, another shout out to Dr. Bowman for keeping everybody healthy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so Dr. Johnny.
He really swooped in with Bree, so I was
Yes.
on the phone with him every day.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So what do we want to tell everybody? Is there a message we want to send out to other athletes maybe that are coming into the program, our JV kids that are coming in, what it takes, what they should expect, or some advice for them?
I would say just enjoy it. Like, enjoy every moment you have of it. And just, like, don't let the pressure get to you because if you let the pressure get to you, it's just going to eat at you, and then you're not going to perform to your fullest potential. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, you like do one thing at a time, and just like take every day as like a new day, and just like like Bella said, have fun and like just
one step at a time, right?
I would definitely say enjoy every bump in the road, because you're not gonna, once you graduate, you're not gonna get those anymore with that same people, or coming into the program too, like wanting to go there and have fun. Like, to just have fun and being able to be yourself around these people too. It definitely makes or breaks your experience too. So, like, have fun. Push yourself to be the best too. It's really
And I always we always say this and think back to why you're doing this sport. Like those days that you're hurting so bad, or those days that you don't want to wake up for a 6 a.m. practice, or those days that you just don't want to do another full out. Why are you doing this sport? Go back to what you enjoy about it. The people on the mat are all there for the same reason. They all want the same end goal. So I just think I don't know, whenever you're feeling down about cheer, because it's a very mental sport and it can really be very stressful. It's just good to think to go back to why you do it. So
that's awesome advice. Before I ask the coaches, you girls probably don't realize this now, but so when you're really old like me, the cool thing about this season, last season, everything is this is stuff you're going to remember for your whole life. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Your parents are going to remember for your whole life. We always talk about older people talking about their glory days. You'll be telling this story when you're 65 like me. So it's kind of a cool thing. So embrace it. And congratulations, especially seniors, on your success.
Thank you.
It's huge. Any plans to cheer after this?
No.
No?
Just attending a university, I'm not sure which one yet, and studying nursing.
All right. But no cheering?
No.
Okay. Just have to ask. That's good. Okay, so advice for your athletes that are coming up, or any messages to the parents, the community?
Yeah, one of your first questions was, what do we want people to know?
Yeah.
And I think we're sometimes, the athletes might not realize or take for granted the amount of support that we have within the school and the community, because it's normal to them, which is amazing, because there aren't, not every high school supports and respects cheerleading in the manner that Grayslake, well, really all of District 127 does. And so, huge gratitude from our athletic department and the school itself. But what advice would I have for others?
Yeah.
Well, I think the biggest thing is that you just have to commit. You have to commit. You have to buy in to the program and to the culture if you really want to be a part of it. It doesn't ever turn off, unfortunately. And we've been living it for 20 years. And these kids have been living it for 4 or 3 years now. And committing and buying into the training and the process is so important. And know that everything we're doing, every decision that we make as coaches is logical. It is well thought out. Stacey and I lose hours of sleep, thinking about this program and these athletes and their best interests, how to keep them successful, but also do the right thing. So I'm incredibly proud of the season. It was all we can ever ask of is 2 hits. If you're going to compete at prelims and finals at state, you want to have 2 hits, and that's exactly what they did, and they had a good time.
Awesome.
I think that just knowing how to agree with Coach Adams just about the support that our program has. Our school is incredibly supportive. Their parents are incredibly supportive. Shout out to our husbands. They're incredibly supportive, giving with all the time that we give up from our own families. And it's just so very well respected. And being a teacher at Grayslake Central, I have teachers come up to me in the hallway asking about the team all the time, and people that don't even really know a lot about cheerleading, but they'll say oh, I was looking up the scores on Tourney Wire and I saw that, and they'll really they cool. Watch it and they follow along, and people that coach football and coach soccer and coach tennis, people that I never would have even imagined are truly invested in cheer. And I think it's really special. And like Coach Adams said, then really embrace that then. It's not something that happens everywhere. And it's because of the culture and the tradition and the good standard that a lot of athletes like Bella and Peyton and Reagan have set that keep us as successful as we are, but also just keep it as enjoyable as it is to come to day in, day out, morning, night, sleepless nights when we're up. It's all for them. And we just want them to grow as people, learn a few life lessons along the way, hopefully, and leave high school feeling like they're proud.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you all are. That's for sure. With all the pressure and everything that goes into it, just sitting with you young ladies, it's funny to me on how calm and cool, and like every pressure question I ask you, you're like, well, it's good, but somebody lifts me up or anything. So, but it's great. But like we said before, but these are life lessons, and hopefully these cheerleading moments carry you through, and you'll look back to the lessons you learned about community as well. So,
For sure.
well, I want to thank you all for being here. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you so much.
Oh my God, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. We finally got to get everybody together, so it's very cool. So Grayslake, if you're listening to this, and anybody in the community, feel free to share this so we can bring as much awareness to the cheerleading as we possibly can. And also, no matter where you guys are listening, whether you're listening on Spotify, whether you're listening on Apple or YouTube or wherever you are, make sure to subscribe so that every week you'll get notified of a new guest from Grayslake or a new group from Grayslake that you may not be familiar with. And I do think that everybody should listen to people that they don't know. Even if you're not in cheerleading, I hope you listen to this because it was really fun. I learned a lot today. So, and I'll leave everybody with this like I always do. So, we never know people that are around us and what kind of day they're having. So I challenge everybody today to go out and do one random act of kindness to someone, because it can lift everybody up, you can make somebody smile, and it carries over and kindness spreads like wildfire. So if we're all nice to each other, we can just make our community and everybody's life just a little bit better. So Grayslake, thank you so much for listening. Thank all you girls again.
Thank you so much.
And we'll see you next Tuesday, everybody.